I spent almost 2 years going to every networking event in my city, from career fairs to industry mixers to speed networking events, plus alumni meetups. You name it, I was there. I collected so many business cards that I could use them for a wallpaper in my room. I perfected my 30 seconds elevator pitch as well. And I always try to look so professional at these events. Just name it. What didn't I do? The result of this, almost absolutely nothing at the end of the day. But then I met a fellow student like me who also attended most of these events. And I was able to learn from their story and their strategy on how to attend events like this. She got good results from these networking events and even a full-time job offer with a consulting firm. I knew that I had to do something different to also land my own job. So here's a question on the minds of many international students. Do these networking events actually work? Or are they just an expensive way to just waste your time? In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly which events are worth your time, which ones are a complete waste, and the specific strategies that separate students who actually network and get jobs from the ones who just collect LinkedIn connections and business cards. If you've ever felt invisible at a networking event, or you're wondering whether you should even bother at all while your study permit and your PGWP clock is clicking, this video will change your entire approach. So let's dive into it. Here is what nobody tells you. Most networking events do not work the way you think they do. In most cases, you're not going there to hand over your resume to recruiters and get hired on the spot. That's like going to the gym once a week and expecting to get a six-pack. Let me tell you a quick story about my journey, and maybe you can learn a lesson or two from it. I came from Nigeria for my master's degree here in Canada. In my first semester, having watched series of YouTube videos and taking advices from all manner of people, I downloaded the Eventbrite app and I attended most career fairs in my city. I would wait in those long lines in the company's booths, hand over my resume, and get the same response most of the time. Thank you, we'll keep this on file and reach out to you. Which basically means trash. 6 months later, zero callbacks. Then I did more research and I completely changed my approach to networking events. So instead of treating them like job fairs, I began to treat them like information gathering missions. Same events, different strategies. In a few months, I was able to get callbacks from these recruiters and scheduled interviews as well. Here's exactly how my old strategy would usually play out. I would attend these events, collect as many business cards as possible, drop my resume on their desks, and just hope for a callback. And I'll always just focus on the business that brought me there, getting a job. However, that didn't work well for me. So I had to change my strategy. I started to select the events that I attended strategically. I began to have quality conversations in these events and then quick follow-ups after the events. I made it my duty to target talking to the right people, and I moved my focus from just trying to get a job to building relationships that led to opportunities. And that's what I'm actually going to break down in this video and what actually works in 2026. Here are 6 networking event myths that are destroying your job search. The first myth is that all networking events are the same. That is wrong. There's a massive difference between your career fairs, alumni mixers, industry-specific events, and general networking nights. The general career fairs are good for research and understanding what the employers need. The alumni mixers are perfect because you get to meet people who were once in your shoes who are currently in the job market. You get to ask them questions on their journey so far and learn from their experiences. The industry-specific events are good for learning from professionals in your field. And then we'll have the general networking events. To be honest, these ones are not so much of a big deal. Students who attend more targeted industry-specific events have over 3% chances of getting hired than those who just go for generic networking events. The second myth is that you have to talk to everybody in the room. That is wrong. I would say quality over quantity, always. As an international student, when you go for these networking events, target having 3 to 5 meaningful 10-minute conversations rather than having 30 shallow 2-minute conversations or small talks. Why is this? Because employers would rather go for students who ask meaningful questions and show genuine interest in their organizations than those who just ask generic questions or make generic comments like, I'm very hardworking, I'm a good team player looking for opportunities. That is so cliche. The third myth is that the goal is to get a job at the event. The actual goal is to get the next good conversation. Job offers come from relationships. Relationships come from multiple touch points. And networking events are the touch point number one, not the final. Think of it like dating. You hardly get proposed to or you hardly propose on the first date. So, same concept. There's a popular saying which I also live by, which says that by the time you need a relationship, it's already too late because relationships build over time. You do not just barge into somebody's inbox or email and ask them for a referral when you haven't even tried to build a connection with them before that time. The myth number 4 is that expensive events are better. That is false. I've seen students drop premium of $100 plus on dinners and events hosted by certain organizations, and at the end of the day, they didn't land any job role or any meaningful connection. And I've also seen students land co-ops and internship roles and full-time opportunities from even free campus fairs or campus career events. The truth is, the event quality is as a result of who attends your events, plus your preparation, plus your follow-up. That free event hosted by your school's career office might actually land you the role, and an expensive fancy dinner or gala night hosted by an organization that you really do not have a connection with. Myth number 4 is that you cannot network if you're an introvert or if you have an accent or your English isn't perfect. That is false. Listen to me carefully. Some of the best networkers are actually introverts with accents. Here is why they succeed, and you too can adopt this. They prepare questions in advance. They listen more than they talk. People love this. They love that you pay attention to what they're saying. They follow up with thoughtful written messages. And finally, they focus on one-on-one quality conversation than just walking the room. Your international perspective is an asset. Frame it right. It's not supposed to be a disadvantage. Know how to sell yourself as an international student. Let them know that you're bringing a global perspective to things. Myth number 6 is that business cards matter. Hello, we are in 2026. A lot of professionals no longer carry business cards around, and that is facts. What matters the most? LinkedIn connections. This would help you with follow-up after the event. If you don't have an active LinkedIn account, you should start one today. The phone numbers you collect at the event for text and follow-ups. Do not just call people out of the blues. Just text them, say thank you, and leave a short message. Also, email addresses. Make sure to take the email addresses of the people or the firms you're interested in and send those messages after the event. A pro tip for you if you insist on business cards, you can actually use your phone to scan the business card QR code and get the information you want on your phone. Everything is digital these days. So, what actually works? Which events should you attend and which ones should you skip in 2026 and beyond? You cannot attend every event. You don't have that time, energy, or resources, especially when you're juggling classes, your part-time job, and a whole lot of other responsibilities that you have going on. So here is my event selection matrix that can guide you in 2026 and beyond. First is the must attend events. Number 1 in this category is the industry-specific conferences and workshops. Why they actually work. Most of your employers are actually recruiting, not just branding. Also, specific technical conversations prove your knowledge. It gives you the opportunity to talk to professionals and also share your skills and let them hear you speak those technical languages that you speak in your field. Lastly, they are smaller but more intimate. You get a chance to talk to the relevant people in the room. This is good for second year students who actually have the skills to show. Number two must attend events in this tier category is the alumni events from your program of study. This is gold for international students. Why? The alumni, they understand your exact experience because some of them have transitioned from international students to workers and maybe permanent residency in Canada. Secondly, the alumni are most likely hiring in their organization or know people who are hiring within their organization. Thirdly, they are genuinely invested in helping students in your program. They can also give you relevant advice, which professors to connect with, which courses matter, what you need to do. You can learn from their experiences. They can give you tips on how to succeed in your field. Where can you find these people? Your school has an alumni website or alumni group. You can connect with them in these groups. On LinkedIn, your school might have an alumni group. You can connect with them. And lastly, your career services office in your school. Make sure to prioritize events where your school's alumni are present. They get you, they understand where you're coming from, and they know where you're headed to. So they can genuinely help you without even stressing you that much. The third category in the must attend event is the employer specific information sections. Several companies and banks in Canada like ATB, RBC, and the likes hold information sessions for students on campus. Why this is valuable? When they come on your campus, they are already targeting roles like entry-level roles for students to fill. So it is already pre-filtered. The recruiters remember faces from those sessions. When you interact with them, make sure that they know you, you know their names, and they will be able to get a picture of your face. In those kind of sessions, you are open to ask questions regarding sponsorship, postgraduate work permit eligibility, part-time job offers, and as many questions as you want. And then most of these events are followed by networking time where you can have one-on-one conversations with as many people as possible in that session. How to find them? You can find them through your university's career portal, the company career pages. Most times they even post on LinkedIn on which school they are going to next. The second broad level of events to attend is the attend if strategic events. Now, in this category, we have like the career fairs. Go for these career fairs if your target company or companies are attending. Usually in the event posters of these career fairs, they list the companies that will be attending the career fairs. In most cases, they also list the positions that these companies are looking out for. So make sure to check the information before you attend. This kind of event is also good for first-year students who need to gather information and study the landscape, what employers are looking out for. This kind of event is not for you if you are not prepared, or maybe you are in your last semester. In your last semester, you are expected to be doing targeted outreaches, not these general career fairs. When going for these career fairs, you want to make sure that you research about the company, prepare at least 3 specific questions in advance, and make sure to aim for 4 to 5 quality booths at max. Another category of event under this attend if strategic category is the general networking mixers. The truth is, in 2026, this has become less valuable as they are less focused, so they are not of so much value as the industry-specific ones. You can use these events to just practice your conversational skills. If you're an introvert, go for these kind of events and practice your conversational skills. Also, you can attend if it's free and you have nothing to lose. Lastly, you can attend if you're genuinely interested in the topic or the speaker. For me, my first semester, I attended lots of these events just to help me to improve my conversational skills because I'm someone who sees myself as an introvert. So in order to improve my conversational skills, I would go to these events. Another tip that helped me was going to these events alone. I would be very intentional about not going with someone that I was comfortable or familiar with. That would give me the opportunity to meet new people and connect with them, have conversations, and get to know them better. Now, the final broad category of events is one that I call the skip/waste of time events. For example, the pay-to-play networking events that has no clear focus or direction on which attendees are going to attend the event. Also, those networking for networking sake events with no industry focus or specific areas of interest that is related to what you're looking out for. Here's what I want you to do. For every month, pick at least one tier 1 must attend events. Quality over quantity, anytime. Use this decision filter. Ask yourself this question: will the people who are meeting at this event be able to bring me closer to my co-op or internship or full-time job opportunity goal? If no, skip it. All right, so now you've selected the right event to attend. Now I'm going to give you a system to make that count. I'll be breaking this system into 3 phases: 1 before the event, 2 during the event, and 3 after the event. For phase 1, before the event, and this is where most students fail. They fail because they skip this phase, and you don't have to. Step 1 in this phase is to do your research at least 2 to 3 days before the event. Find out who is attending, who is speaking, what is the topic about, who are the company reps, the sponsors. Thirdly, go to LinkedIn and stalk these people for a bit. Find 3 to 5 people that you must talk to in this event. Go to their LinkedIn, check what they are working on, look into the projects they've worked on in the past, show interest in their work, just to strike conversation and keep the conversation going. Create a list of their names, the company they work for, their roles, why you want to talk to them, and 2 to 3 specific questions that you want to ask them. When they see that you have questions written down as you're talking to them, that shows that you did your research and you are really interested in the work that they do. Step 2. Prepare your story 1 day before the event. You need 2 to 3 ready-to-go stories. 1 can be your journey story: how you came to Canada, why you chose to study what you're studying in Canada, why you came to Canada, plus what excites you about Canada and what you're studying in school. Make sure to keep it 60 seconds max and include specific details that they will remember. Number 2, you can talk about your skills story. You can mention a project or achievement that shows your competence. What are you currently working on? How does that impact the work that you do or the work that you tend to do in the future? How does that impact the goals of the company? Talk about the impact you have made on that project. And then story number 3 can be about your goals. What are you looking for and why? What motivates you? Why do stories work? Storytelling works way more than facts. Somebody can forget the facts that you mentioned, but they will not forget your story, especially when they're able to place a face to your name. So, always make sure to include storytelling in your conversations. The third step in this stage is to prepare your tools. Go to your LinkedIn account. If it hasn't been active for a very long time, go and leave a relevant post. Charge your phone. Make sure you look professional or at least corporate casual. If you have a portfolio link where you have some of your work, you just keep that very close to you. A bonus point at this phase is offer to volunteer. I'll tell you a story about how I do this. When I want to attend events that I am interested in, sometimes I go through the poster, the employers that will be there, the speakers, the organizers, and all of that. Sometimes I reach out to them before the event and I ask if they need volunteers. So that way, it makes me come to the event as a volunteer and not just someone looking for a job. By offering my volunteer services, it brings me closer to the people that I want to connect with. Now, let's talk about phase 2 during the event. This is the execution phase. Now the day of the event has come and you need to execute all your plans. The first strategy is the 3-person rule. Your goal in this phase is to have meaningful conversation with at least 3 people and 5 people max. Here is why that works. Because it's easier to follow up with 3 to 5 people effectively than following up with 20 to 50 people. Strategy number 2 for the execution phase is the conversation framework. This is exactly how it works. Within the first 15 seconds that you meet a potential employer, be able to introduce yourself in that amount of time. You can start with, "Hi, my name is Aku. I study at this and I'm studying this program. I noticed that you work at this company and I am specifically interested in these areas of the company. I saw that you guys have a new project about this and I'm very interested in that and excited to read more about it. Tell me more about it. How did you get into that?" Now, with this framework, in this short amount of time, you've stated who you are, you show that you did your research about the company, and lastly, you ask an open-ended question. This gives them the opportunity to also talk about themselves and the work that they've done. People love this. In the middle of your conversations, I recommend you follow the 70-30 rules when it comes to conversation. Listen 70% of the time and talk 30% of the time. When closing that conversation, do not just say, "Can I have your email address?" Instead, say something like this: "This has been really valuable to me. Thank you very much for the information and opening my eyes to these aspects of your company and your role. Would it be okay for you if I connected with you on LinkedIn and maybe send a follow-up question later?" Alternatively, if the conversation was really good and you just want to let them go talk to other people, you can just ask them, "Would you be open to a 15 minutes virtual coffee chat, say in the next couple of weeks? I would really love to learn more about this topic that you just discussed." Once they approve, you exchange information immediately and you already have a connection from that event. Right there, make sure that you send them a LinkedIn connection request and show it to them that, "Hey, I just sent you a connection request. This is my name on LinkedIn. Please accept so we can continue the conversation," and thank them for their time. Strategy number 3 is the note-taking trick. After each conversation, do not just jump onto the next. Instead, step away and take a quick note. Write down the name of the person you just spoke to, the company and the role, 2 to 3 key details about what was mentioned in your conversation, and one specific thing that was referenced that you would like to follow up on. This makes your follow-up personal and memorable. Strategy number 4 is for my introverts who are dealing with awkwardness in social settings. If you're alone and you feel awkward, you can stand near the food and the drinks and start a conversation with somebody who also joins the table. You can also take a bold step and approach other people who are standing on their own. Some people find it difficult to start conversations, so you approaching them would actually open that door for them. A bonus tip is that you can ask the event staff or volunteers about people in the event. They often know everyone. Now, if a conversation gets awkward or the conversation dies, you can just simply end it by, "It was nice talking to you. I need to grab a cup of water. Let's connect on LinkedIn," and end it there. Now, this takes us to phase 3, after the event. This is where majority of students fail. They connect on LinkedIn and that's the end. Make sure that after the event, you follow up within 24 to 48 hours. If you had a follow-up to the conversation, say you had to read up something to be sure of the information or to learn more, let them know that, yeah, indeed, that suggestion was helpful to you and you've read more about it. And let them know that you would like to continue the conversation, maybe over a virtual coffee chat. Propose a time from your calendar, give them a time range and number of days range, and say, "Within this day and this day, I'm free within this time to this time. Would you be open to a virtual coffee chat just for me to ask more questions and clarify certain things?" Why this strategy works is because you're referencing specific conversation details. This shows that you were listening to what they were saying. Plus, it shows that you took initiative. Also, it makes it easy for them. You have your calendar linked to the conversation and they can go through it and just choose a date and time. 15 minutes is a lot of time for anybody to give you free of charge, so appreciate that. Do not ask for 1 hour, do not ask for longer hours, especially for the first conversation. Remember, you're not friends with this person. They are only doing you a favor, so you do not want to eat into too much of their time. If they say yes to coffee, make sure you prepare 5 to 7 questions in advance for that meeting. Ask about their career paths. Make sure to ask for an advice, not a job. At the end of the conversation, you can end it with, "Is there any other person in your network that you think I should speak with?" If they don't respond after, say, 1 week, you can just send a gentle reminder to them. And if they still do not respond, just move on. Now, after the coffee invite and now you have your coffee chat successfully, do not forget to send a thank you message with updates after the meeting. Plus, you can also share an article of your work or the project you're working on and ask a question. And then going forward from there, make sure you engage with their LinkedIn posts. That way, the person has met you, put a face to your name, you have connected, and you build that relationship from there going forward. That is how you turn one single event to an ongoing relationship. Let's talk about your biggest networking event questions. The first question is, what if I'm too nervous to approach people? The truth is, everyone feels nervous, even that person that you think is the most confident in the room. They just have a better way of hiding it. 3 hacks that can help you is the buddy system. Go with a classmate who you're familiar with. But when you get there, make sure to split up and check in on one another maybe every 20 minutes. Another hack can be the early bird arrival. You can arrive at the event early. That way there are fewer people to have conversations with. And before you know it, more people join and you're able to follow up on conversations with other people as well. And then we have the last hack, which is like the question opener. You can approach someone and say, hey, is this your first time at this event? Boom, a conversation starts and you guys begin to share what you're enjoying about the event and get to know each other better. You can practice this with low-stakes situations first, maybe your classmates and students from other schools. Question number 2, what if my English is not perfect? I'm going to say this clearly. Your accent is not your problem. People will still understand you with or without your accent. Here's what actually matters. Ask clear questions, listen actively, and make sure to follow up in writing. Some of the best networkers win at this because they are prepared and thoughtful. A very common question that people ask, are virtual networking events worth it in 2026? My answer to that is yes, but they are different. The good thing about them is you don't have to commute, there's no pressure. It's easier to take notes during conversations. Plus, you don't have to worry about the geographic flexibility. However, it is harder to build deeper connections, and it's also easier to lose focus and just disappear. Now you've gotten all the hack and the strategies. This is what I want you to do over the next 7 days. Today, I want you to go and download the Eventbrite app, research on 2 upcoming events using that app or your university's career portal. You can also use LinkedIn events. Step 2, pick one tier 1 event to attend this month. And then create your hit list templates, that is the questions you want to ask and the people that you would like to see in those events. Make sure you register for those events and do not procrastinate. Research the attendees and the speakers of these events. Go to their LinkedIn. Check for at least 3 to 5 people who will be attending or speaking in these events. Check the companies they work for and the roles that they play in those firms. Make sure to prepare specific questions for each of them and use all the strategies that I have talked about in this video to prepare for that event. If this video has helped you to change the way that you think about networking events, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I share valuable insights to international students on how to thrive in Canada. Make sure to subscribe and share this video with your network. Now, go out and make those connections count. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.